Hello, Facebook friends and family. It's me, Rockin' Real Estate with Regina and Caldwell Banker Heritage. And sitting right here next to me is my good friend, Newt Bartel. And Newt, tell the people what you do.
I am a home inspector. I have a home inspection company.
Woo woo. So Newt does home inspections, and as y'all know, I use a lot of different home inspectors out there in my field, and I reached out to Newt because I've seen him most recently in 2021, and so he wanted to talk a little bit about his business and what it is that he does for our buyers and our sellers in the real estate world. So Newt, how long have you been in home inspections?
About 8 years now.
Okay, so a little bit of experience.
Yeah, quite a bit. We went full time in 2020.
Okay.
So prior to that, I've done new construction. I had a new home building company, and that was from '96 to 2010.
Okay.
And then when the market got tough, I opened another company that did renovation and remodeling. And so it was there that I got approached by a realtor that said, "Can you look at a home for me?"
Okay.
So I did that, and so we integrated that with the construction company, and then in 2019 sold the construction company, went 100%.
Home
was right at
inspection.
the end of, so went 100% home inspection.
Okay, so not only are you fluent in home inspection, but you come from the building side of it too.
Correct.
Which kind of go hand in hand, right?
It does.
So I got this coffee cup. Y'all see me kind of tossing around. Newt brought me this coffee cup. So if it gets in the way, I'll just put it down. But I love it when people bring me gifts. It's so cool. So been in the business for a while, kind of integrated from construction into the home inspection. So when it comes to home inspections, there's a lot of different types, right? And so a lot of buyers ask me, what am I looking for in a home inspection? What do I say to the home inspector? And so can you tell us what type of features you offer or what kind of products you offer in your home inspections?
Absolutely. So a lot of times in Ohio, in the state of Ohio as well, you want to pre-qualify your inspector. A lot of people will look at it, and the first question we'll get will be, "What's your price?"
Okay. Because that's important.
It is important, and in reality, though, the range is probably not more than $50 plus or minus from one inspector to another.
Oh, okay.
So we're pretty competitive. So you should really then start asking yourself, what do I want out of an inspector?
Okay.
Are they experienced?
Sure.
How many inspections have you done? What's your background?
Okay.
What are you going to be inspected? Are you insured?
Yeah.
Questions that say, okay, if you miss something, how do we handle that?
Okay.
There are errors and omissions insurance. There are warranty packages that come along with it.
Okay.
So asking the questions, and probably the first primary question is, are you licensed?
Sure.
Now, in the state of Ohio, you do not currently have to be, but they are really pushing it hard, and it's getting really close. So
they are.
It's been around long enough. So if you're an inspector that plans on being here for a long time, get your license.
Sure.
As
a professional, I don't use anybody that's not licensed in this business.
Right.
Now, there are some homeowners out there that prefer to bring in their own brother, cousin, Billy Bob down the road. But I have found that using someone qualified, someone who has the equipment, which I'm sure you do, and there's a lot of different ranges of an inspection, right? So there's a full house, and then if it's got a basement, there's radon, right?
Even without a basement, we'll do radon.
Okay, so let's talk about radon, because I know a lot of people say to me, what is radon? What causes it? Does it mean if I don't have a basement, if it's on a slab, what's the difference between a slab and a basement and all that stuff?
Okay, so you're basically in Ohio, we have 3 different foundations.
Okay.
We have a basement where you dig a hole.
Yep.
You have concrete walls, you have a concrete floor, and you can go into that space. Usually your mechanicals are down there. And especially if you're in an older home, a lot of times your basements aren't real functional.
Sure.
But they do house all the mechanicals.
Okay.
So the next type of foundation is going to be a crawl space.
Okay.
Where you dig down about half as much, so you're only about 4 feet tall, and that way you can get all your mechanicals and everything in that crawl space, and then you build your house on top of that.
So not completely stand up accessible, but you can still kind of get around.
Yeah, and that depends on the age of the house. The older the home, the shorter that distance is.
Okay, and then there's a slab.
Then there's a slab.
Can houses that are on slab get radon?
Absolutely.
Okay, and tell the people what causes radon.
Radon is the natural radioactive gases coming out of the earth.
Yeah.
So what the radon test does is it tests how much there is. And it gets rated at parts per million. Once you're over 4 parts per million, then you need to get a radon mitigation system.
Okay. And so, from my experience in working with you in home inspection, am I correct when I say every house in the state of Ohio has radon?
Yes.
Yeah. And so, the difference is the EPA standard. What decides what's okay and what's not, right? Because we can't take it out.
No, you can't. You can lower it. You're never going to get it down to 0.
Okay.
And where the number 4 came up is a disputed issue.
Okay, and that's the EPA number that's got to be
the
4 and
EPA,
below.
and I believe it's 4 parts per million. They may rate it in something else as well, but for the conversation purposes, 4 is our number.
Okay.
4 is our magic number that comes back on the radon test.
All right, and then I got to talk about the obvious because we're in rainy season.
Right.
It's wet. We just had that huge snow that just melted.
Right.
All that water's just going somewhere, right?
Right.
So you know where I'm going with this in a basement, right? What's the most important thing to have in a basement besides radon testing when rainy season? Sump pump.
Sump pump or a definite way to get rid of the water.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
A lot of people with sump pumps in their basement, what do you think their number one mistake is when they have a sump pump in the basement?
Not paying attention to it.
Mm-hmm. And is it important, do you think, for them to always have a battery backup to that sump pump, or is that something that's kind of like preferable? Do they have to keep an eye on it? What does that look like?
I think history of the house. Of course, it's really easy to say always go spend money on a battery backup or a water backup. Really, the water backups are more reliable.
Yeah.
It's where you use water pressure from the house to run the pump, and that way, if your power goes out or your battery goes dead, you're still removing water.
Okay. So in home inspection world, what's the craziest thing you've ever seen?
Snakes.
Oh!
Snakes. I went into one attic and I saw a 6-foot snake skin. And then I've been into a crawl space and seen, dead snakes. So that probably, as far as freaking people out,
But the snake wasn't alive. You didn't have
No,
some.
I haven't seen alive. The other day I was in an attic and there was a squirrel up there, and the squirrel was just walked across the attic.
Yeah,
and looked at me like, "Hey, you're in my space." And I thought, well, it's cold outside. You need a place to be too.
So you probably see a lot of stuff in the home inspection.
Oh, it's a ball.
Yeah.
Every house is different. Every house tells a different story.
Yeah.
The older the house, the more of a story, I think.
So when you go in to inspect a home, where do you typically start?
Top down.
Okay.
So
you start at the top.
Start at the top. So we're gonna get on the roof first. That's gonna take us to the roof, the chimney. Then we're gonna come on down. Then we're gonna wrap around left to right.
Okay, so there's a system.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. There's a system.
Okay, cool.
Left to right.
Because I always attend the home inspections, but I'm not always right by your side when you're doing those, and so I've never asked what the system was. I just really kind of leave it up to the home inspectors to do their thing. So that's kind of cool to know that you guys, do have a somewhat of a system that you work off.
And that, different inspectors can do it different ways.
Yeah.
One person may like doing the inside of the house first and then the outside.
Sure.
That's the path that I take and that I'll train our inspectors to take.
Okay.
So that every inspection from Ultimate Home Inspections is done with the same exact process.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're located in Kettering, right?
Yeah. We're in Centerville. No, we're in Kettering now. We just switched to Kettering. Sorry about that.
He doesn't know where he's at, guys, because he's always in the field. That's what's really going on. So you service.
We service. We were up in West Liberty.
Okay.
The other day.
Sure.
That's up by Arcanum. I didn't know where West Liberty was until I drove there either.
Okay, so you're open.
And we're down into Hamilton. even Cincinnati if we need to go down to Cincinnati. Then probably to the Ohio border, Indiana border, and we'll go out as far as Wilmington probably.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we go where our realtors go.
Sure.
So where you go, we're going. There isn't
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So you guys know, I talk a lot about the teams that I build and the rapport that I have for my families. Because guiding people in the right direction, real estate's a huge transaction. And it's emotional, right? And so, in my profession, I want to make sure that I've got a strong group of people behind me. And although I use a lot of different home inspectors, I try to keep the ones that I know are going to perform in the same mission that I have, and that's taking care of my family.
Right.
And so we appreciate that you do a good job. You do a lot of home inspections for me.
Thank you for the work.
You're very welcome. And so what advice do you have for our buyers and sellers as we come into this new 2021? A lot of things changed us in 2020. What piece of advice could you give us from the home inspection side?
One, you guys are in tough negotiation times right now.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the offers we see are going in, hey, no, we'll buy this house, no inspections.
Yeah.
Or we'll buy this house, we have 2 days of inspections. It's a unique time in the market right now.
Yeah.
But don't cheat yourself. Don't cheat yourself out of that, because it'll come back around to get you. It certainly can. So I think with the times that we're having now, don't forego inspections.
Yeah.
To sweeten the deal as they're going to buy a house.
Well, I think what people get confused about, and so I want to break it down. You can still waive an inspection and have one.
Exactly.
And I think that's the piece that people don't understand, is that I understand we're in a bidding war, and we have very, very low inventory. And so you're right. People are cutting themselves short on the inspection end, and you don't have to do that. You can still get your inspections and waive that contingency period. And I would think you would agree it's important to do that, because they don't know what they're buying when they walk into a naked eye.
And right? I've been into a new home.
Yeah.
That before I even got in the house, I had 18 items.
Wow.
Yeah, and this was
brand new house.
This was their final walkthrough.
Wow.
And I've also been in 100-year-old homes where I've been around the whole outside and didn't see anything.
Okay.
Because it was well taken care of.
Just well maintained.
Yeah, and so it's all over the board. So I think as far as inspection goes, interview your inspectors that you want to talk to. And once you do, you won't worry about $25 or $50. The most important thing is
gaining your trust.
Well, yeah. What is important to you, and can you ask questions? Are you free to call them at any time?
Yeah.
Once you get the inspection, it's not a get an inspection and we're done with you. See you later.
Right.
We make it a point to tell everybody, if you get work done by the seller, we come back out for free and check the work that the people have done.
I'm glad you said that, because it's one of the things that I love about the service you provide. And so let me touch on that a little bit, folks. When, I provide you a list of home inspectors, usually my top 3. Newt offers in his package that if he does your home inspection, and then there are negotiations from seller to buyer for repairs, whatever that looks like, if you want Newt to come back out during that final walkthrough, he does that free.
Right.
He builds that into the inspection price up front, which I think is a great feature, because not every home inspector is willing to do that.
No, or some of them will use it as a point to gain more income.
Sure.
My thought is, when you accept a customer or a client, you're seeing them all the way through.
Absolutely.
Every member of your team should do the same thing.
Yeah.
And take it all the way through. And here's my parts all the way through.
Sure.
And a lot of times parts afterwards.
Yeah.
So where you may be done with the transaction, with my history, a lot of times people they'll be like, we're about to remodel our bathroom. How do we do this?
So they might call you after I'm done with my end of it.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
so making that relationship from the front is going to carry you all the way through the end.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's
well, we
cool.
always say a build consultant for life.
Yeah.
And that's what we mean by it is call us about it. We know houses.
That's
you know?
awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge.